Welcome back, welcome back. We are playing Mali once again. This is the Empire of Mali on our quest to get the achievement for converting Africa to one faith. Where we had left it in our last one, we had essentially done quite well with our very nice ruler. She is a genius, I believe. She is indeed a genius. We had conquered a whole bunch of territory, created the empire. We've already reformed the faith. And we actually did a bit of a sneaky grab for Seville, and the reason we did that is because we needed to go feudal, and that allowed us to culture convert to Andalusian, which allowed us to convert to go feudal because that had already reached early medieval. The goal being to flip back to Hausa as soon as possible, but it means that at least we could go feudal in the meantime. And one of the big reasons for going feudal is because it allows us to found holy orders. And founding holy orders is going to be incredibly useful for us as we try and convert everything else. I do suspect we should also do some capital development. Assuming we're keeping our capital back in Mali, rather than moving it, say, back to Seville, we probably should be doing some dev boosting here because we are very low dev. Very low dev. Now the problem we've got with that is... Well, actually, it's not a problem at the moment because we don't want to convert all of this from Hausa. So we do actually want to do this. So let's do some dev growth and start kicking in dev growth seriously in Niani. And let's... Can we call hunts? 976 is when we can next do that. We would get critical stress if we did that, so I think we'll hold off doing that until we can actually do it and instantly kill our stress off by working off some stress. So there we go. So that is the situation as it stands. We have a fair bit of money. We have a bunch of titles that can be created, and we can actually modify some contracts, which is interesting. Not convinced we want to. I'm always kind of... The actual value you get out of modifying contracts is not huge in the grand scheme of things. So I tend not to bother, because it just pisses people off. So obviously our real quest now is we need to get control of all of this, because we're trying to convert everything to Bori. Now, there's a certain amount of now us being in the position where we want to start breaking off kingdoms. And the other benefit to breaking off kingdoms and then reintegrating them is we can build more holy orders. And we can get going that way, which is always useful. Art streams are always fun. I love an art stream. I often have an art stream on when I'm working. I have one on in the background. Because I find they're quite peaceful and relaxing. It's nice to just see people creating. Now, one thing we need to think about is what we do in terms of founding holy orders and where we put them. So my instinct is we're probably going to found one up here and then sneakily release them and then reconquer them later on, which will then give us bonus holy orders. But what we should really be thinking about at the moment is dealing with some of the bigger kingdoms down here, because if we can deal with the bigger ones, because of the way we've got our religion set up with Warmonger, we can kind of rely on if we create some decent kingdom level vassals, we can sort of rely on them to start eating up some of this, which kind of would be useful. We also really should push over into this direction again. Bolemi is doing quite well for itself. What even is that? Oh right, Kingdom of Bolemi is that one. Who knew? So we can still do a kingdom level war, which is worth noting. Because apparently it's decided that we haven't done a kingdom level war, which I'm pretty certain we did. But I'm not going to argue. Now what we should maybe do is do a kingdom level war for something like this, because this is actually relatively unified, and I'm pretty certain that's the entirety of that kingdom. So we could take all of that territory in one go, which would be rather useful. We might want to just go after Gamaria first to get us nearer, because we can take them. And then that would prevent us getting some dirty border gore. Because it'd be quite nice to mop some of this up and get that going. Good morning, Maddox. So yeah, we'll be finishing at 11:30 today, because as I say, I've got stuff to do, so it's a relatively short one. But I didn't want to rob you of the stream entirely. We're earning an absolute filthy amount of money. The main reason I'm not cashing that in on stuff, to be honest, is because we're going to convert back to Hausa at some point. And the problem we've got is if we convert back... Oh, other kitty is here. Things are about to get dramatic. The other problem is if we convert back, then we're going to lose the ability to use some of the buildings. So I'm kind of not sure how badly that's going to affect us. Yeah, hello, other kitty. Yeah, he's at the top of the stairs. Why don't you go to sit in your box? She's a very vocal kitty, this one. I don't know if you can hear her on the mic. We've emailed the Cats Protection League to try and get info on whether they can trap her for us. Because if they can trap her, we need to get her spayed. She's clearly not been done. She's not chipped. We know she's not chipped. Because we bought a chip scanner. So we really, really need her. It's going to be a bit traumatic for her, but we can't really think of a better alternative. Because especially now that we're starting to feed her and she's getting a bit healthier again. The main worry is that she's probably actually ovulating again, which means that there's a real danger if she's getting on heat again of kittens, which wouldn't be really fair on her. So we're thinking that if we can get them to catch her, we're obviously happy to donate to cover all the costs of all of this. If they can spay her, now that the spare bedroom is clean, I can always, because you have to kind of keep them somewhere while you do that. Like even if we can do that and put her in there and then feed her until she's fine again, and even if she decides at that point that she hates us and never wants to come back, at least we know that we've left her in a better position for roaming and doing things. Yeah, I think we are kind of resigned to the fact now that if it comes down to it, like if she did opt to stay, and if Max, next door's kitty, who likes to pop in and is currently hiding upstairs, can tolerate her existence, we would probably say actually she can hang around. It's fine. We'd officially make her. We'd get her chipped. Even if she just wanted to roam around and just do her own thing, at least that way someone's looking after her and keep looking out for her and taking care of her health. Anyway, we should do some wars and conquer things. So yeah, I kind of think we go after Gamara, because this is good feudal land as well. It would be nice to kind of knock this corner off before all of this stuff starts merging up, and give it out. Oh, I already know what her name is. Like, if we do keep her, we know what her name is. Because she jokingly acquired a nickname from us and the neighbour because of her absolute dedication to trying to seduce Not My Cat. So she is provisionally and potentially named. Right, so we could go for that duchy. We could go for that duchy. I mean, I feel like we should just get across the strait, because it would be useful. Costs a lot, though. Why does it cost that much? Different faiths. Oh, okay. So presumably if we do a holy war, it's way cheaper. How popular is Ashari? Yeah, there's quite a lot of Ashari going on. Let's not do that. I mean, that said, maybe we should probably focus a bit more down here in the short term. Because I'm wondering if we're going to get faction rebels. I'd quite like to get faction rebels, to be honest. What I'd really want to happen is none of those. I'm kind of hoping that we might get some cultural populists, because then we'd concede and flip back that way. Flip cultures again that way. We are 39 at the moment. This is our heir, and she is a pretty intelligent person. So actually, there's even an argument that we might want to try and stress step ourselves relatively quickly. But we also do have like a fearsome level of learning. An absolute fearsome level of learning. Which is not help, because we're not the right culture now. It's not really helping us. All we're doing is boosting Andalusian. Is Bobo one kingdom? Bobo's got surprisingly good allies. Because, yeah, we did lose... We are less troops now that we have flipped. Lower Gurma seems like a thing that we should be going for. And it's a one county. Right, we'd be kind of silly not to do that. Ah, but hang on, she's of our faith. We don't care. We actually don't care. God damn, man. How many alliances do you need? You need to die. How old are you? 60. Can we murder you? No. No, I'm not revealing the name. If she hangs around, if we end up keeping her, I'll reveal the name. She only gets the name if she hangs around. Until then, she's just stray kitty. Can we finish these guys off? Apart from that little bit up there. I have a massive dislike of Bordeaux. I mean, we should actually just creep up through here. Let's creep up the coastline. Oh, the other thing we should be doing is men-at-arms regiments. Because they're actually worthwhile for us now. Oh, and we're briefly going to have onagers. What I'll be intrigued to see is what happens when we cultural convert back. Do we get to keep our onagers or not? Right, we've got some pikemen. That's probably quite useful, so we'll keep the pikemen. Light footman is always useful. Bowman is always useful. And horses are always useful. So we've actually got quite a good balance. And probably another... Let's get some armoured footmen. Because I do wonder what happens if you cultural convert back. Sveki, morning. Yes, we did. We are feudal. So we cultural converted to Andalusian and we are feudal. And then we discovered we can actually at any time move our capital back to Niani, because it is the historic capital of the empire. Oh yes, I'm trying to seduce my head of faith as well, aren't I? Probably something pious. We are shagging our own pope. I completely forgot about that. Or attempting to shag our own pope. Yes, so we had to go Andalusian to go feudal. Have we not got a court physician? Actual physician. Right, we can probably disband a whole chunk of these soldiers to save money. Because we really don't need this many men. Which then means we're only losing a little bit of money, not a lot of money. Because this place is only a one province minor anyway. Is he though? Neither of them are good positions. It really shouldn't say like, X is an experienced physician, when they really, really aren't. No, absolutely not. If you want to know anything about the mechanics of the game, or any quirks of it, you absolutely ask away. That is literally what I'm here for. Right, that is actually incredibly useful for us. Is anything else on this useful for us at the moment, given that we are not of the right culture? Because I don't think it is. So I am very tempted to flip to stewardship. And just start going hammer and tongs for money. Actually, no, we're going to go martial, because we want the cheaper war costs. I think that's probably a good idea. And we can take control growth boost. And we're shagging our Pope in the toilet. The privy is a small space, and the air reeks of foul things recently deposited. But it is private, oh so private. Archpriestess Diorama of Bori High Council looks at me hungrily, removing her garments. I do the same, and as we kiss, a wave of lust rises to make us forget both the spatial discomfort and the dismal views and smells that surround us. Go to the privy for relief, I say. So there you go, we seduced our Pope. So worth remembering we did do that for a reason, not just because we were horny. It was because we needed the Pope to really, really like us. We needed our Pope to really like us in order to be able to convert to feudal. There, look. Doesn't that look much neater already? My Malika Al-Mazoma, you are currently in possession of something. Some place that should be mined. No. Fiore belongs to me. Fiore is one of our gold mine locations, if I remember. So you are absolutely not getting Fiore. Oh no, someone is plotting to kill a guest that I don't care about. Right, what's going on in this war here? Defending against Amir. This is in the third Canarian conquest of the... Oh right, okay, so the Canaries are going after something. I feel like he's about to lose a war. So I think that has now actually changed from impassable just because we control these bits. I don't need it, so no. So that terrain itself is still impassable. I have a feeling we now actually can move down this bit of sea, which will be quite useful. Someone took my place as culture head. That seems logical because I don't think I'm really going to be controlling much in the way of Andalusian territory. Right, you sir. I would quite like that county, please. That's probably enough. Because we now lose money rather than prestige when we're doing our armies, so we just need to watch for that. So wars are going to be more expensive for us now. Throw him in jail. Then does he want to pay me to get out of jail? Damn, son. How did I end up with you in jail? Are you of my faith? You are of my faith, but you just happen to be Andalusian, that's fine. I've agonised over it, and the signs are clear. I am with child, am I? Damn, at 40. Well, hopefully it's a decent baby. If it's a really good baby, we can legitimise it. Which would actually be really useful, because we're not likely to die anytime soon. So essentially it would give us a spare. I have too much territory and we should really deal with that. Definitely don't want to be holding that on to that. Someone... Hausa. You'll do. And... I've got another one that's around somewhere that we probably shouldn't hold on to. Oh, we were going to keep Seville because it's actually really potentially quite profitable, weren't we? The stuff we were divesting ourselves of was the stuff over here, our historical heartland. Because we don't really need it anymore. No, he's Andalusian. We want to keep granting things to Hausa because we are going to go back to being Hausa. Are you of my house? Are you the heir to anything? Yeah, you're a primary heir, so let's not give you land. Kind of. Generally speaking, in feudal societies, getting people to raise troops at all, your vassals to raise troops at all, was a bit of a drama. Because obviously they didn't want to. Or generally didn't want to. One of the big issues that King Henry V has with Agincourt, and one of the reasons why he has low troop numbers and everything else, is actually the logistics and politics of persuading all of his various English vassals to give him some fricking troops anyway, was pretty kind of complex, and required a lot of massaging. So you can kind of hand wave it, stroke justify it in game terms, by saying that actually the declaration of war is needed to prove to your vassals that you are serious about going to war. I think that would be a very reasonable way of doing it. So yeah, we have visions of kind of kings being able to just summon armies and do things, and it really wasn't true. It really wasn't true. What other territory are we holding? What are our actual county level titles? Where's that? Really don't need that. Congrats, my one-legged friend. Yeah, exactly. Like they obviously were going to have to shoulder the cost. In many instances, they had their own vassals that they then had to try and get levies from to make up their own contingent or pay or do whatever else. So declaring and going to war was an incredibly complex operation in itself. Weirdly, it was one of the reasons why the British or the English were quite good at it, was because again, one of the reasons why William of Normandy had his eyes on England was because it was one of the kind of most profitable places in Europe, despite being proportionately weaker and having a less interesting economy. What it did have was an incredibly well instituted system of feudalism and bureaucracy. So William saw England as a cash cow. It's why the French wanted it as much as anything else. You know, people talked about ancient rights, but it was the cash cow that was there. And then William centralised that further when he took over. So England was actually disproportionately decent at waging war, precisely because it had centralised its economy and its feudal system in a way that actually the kings of France just didn't have the luxury of. I pour my gifts onto the soil, herbs, milk and honey. With my eyes closed and smoke stinging my nostrils, I raise my eyes towards the moon. Spirit, knower of all truths, sorts for... Confident organizer. Yeah, this is why I like the changes they've made to EU4 with France, where now when you play as France, you start with just a vassal swarm. I would argue that you could actually have some low-level modifiers. It would be a good thing to have a bunch of low-level modifiers that do essentially correspond to your troops raising. Keep ambitious. Ambitious is useful. We really only need 50 people to besiege that. That's obscene. So yeah, I would argue that... Well, they reflect it in-game by making it so you can raise less troops. Because obviously the number of troops you can raise from your vassals does to a certain level depend on how much they like you. Yeah, I mean, I think the reason it makes France broken is because they've bowed to... in EU4 is because they always bow to the moaners on the forum. Like, I think France should be really hard to play. You shouldn't be able to integrate your vassals anywhere near as quickly as you can in France. Oh, he's not a bad son. Tempted to legitimize him, actually. Because we got female inheritance, so we won't interrupt our female inheritance line. And at least we could give him some territory then and he'd keep our house. Let's legitimize him. Yeah, I think they just need to address how they make that less powerful. That's all it needs. Actually, let's split that in half. You go siege that down. And you stop there. Oh, right, okay, that was handy. Go kill him. Actually, he has a lot more troops. Let's just pause that for a second, because we need to just do this slightly better than we were going to do it. Because we just need to be a bit clever about this now. The trait is consecrated bloodline. We consecrated our bloodline, which is nice. She's 12 and she's already got like a learning of 16. Right, where are you actually retreating to? You are going a long way back. We've got a bit of cash in the bank. Let's raise the other armies. It's mildly annoying because would have been easier to win. We were on the verge of winning the war with the other guy. We will win this war. I'm not fussed about that. So I don't think they're going to come for us. I don't think they'll think they can take us. So they'll probably just go and try and siege that back. So we can send these guys in as a big stompy army. Right, what we are going to do, because we're stress-free at the moment, which means we can now... Oh, we'll wait till we're not at war, and then we're going to develop capital, work off stress, and host a feast. They did go for it. Interesting. I'm surprised by that, because exactly what's happened was what I expected to happen. They've lost. Yeah, go party, kids. Have fun. Jesus Christ, I have a lot of children. We can snipe that army as well, that'll be useful. Because they're probably going to hide in the hills a bit. But let's get in there now while only that small raiding army's on there. It gets that siege started, which is really useful for us. Because winning this war quickly is more important to us than anything else right now. Do you have anyone we can ransom you? I'm actually going to ransom him, because that's quite a lot of money. I'm also going to push us up to Crown Authority too. I'm kind of hoping we don't lose that when we convert culture back. Yeah, this is the party music, which is quite cool. We might actually get this on ticking before that siege falls. We don't actually have full battle score, so if we fought that army, that would do it. Hello, boys. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. The annoying thing is that's truceless with this guy. Which is annoying. We could go off to Tinderhoof though. Yeah, I mean, he might be murderable. He is very murderable. He is incredibly murderable. Havermal66, thank you very much for the follow. That is very gracious of you. I tip my invisible Panama hat to you. Invisible to you, not to me. I can get 50 for you, so let's get 50 gold for you. How is our kingdom in general doing around here? Yeah, they're fighting amongst themselves, but not in a terrible way. We've closed out some more bits around here. That would probably annoy me a hell of a lot more if it was the wrong colour. But maybe a short wall for that is not a bad idea. But before that, let's take our decisions we were going to do. Let's do that. We then do that. We then host a feast. And we've got an unlock. And we'll take Trooper Claims. Oh, I very much wish I could get back to Sweden again. I miss not being able to go to Sweden. It's now 2 years since I was at a GothCon, Gothenburg Gaming Convention, my annual trip. And I love Stockholm. I mean, who doesn't love Stockholm? Especially for Vasa. Swedish Army Museum in Stockholm is one of my favourite museums in the world. Absolutely wonderful museum. GothCon's still amazingly great fun. I love it. As I say, I go... Pandemics aside, I go every year. I've got good friends who live in Sweden, so... if you've ever been joined on the Discord and play Stellaris with us, Lars, who often plays Taharas, is Swedish. And one of my mates from Sweden. But yeah, I normally do a few days in Stockholm, then get the train over to Gothenburg and do GothCon, spend a few days in Gothenburg. The Aircraft Museum in Gothenburg is amazing as well, in the old underground hangar military base. My Swedish is terrible. I can generally these days understand about 50% of what people are saying. I don't think I will ever be able to speak Swedish, just because my accent just doesn't really lend itself to it. My Londonness means that my vowels are too harsh. I think literally the only time I've ever managed to hold a conversation in Swedish without the other person instantly switching to English, because they realised that I'm not Swedish, was when I is ordering McDonald's in Sweden, and that's largely because the person on the other side of the counter isn't a native Swedish speaker either, so they don't spot I'm not Swedish. Ah, there you go, the man himself. Yeah, very much hoping to that we get a bit of a normal GothCon next year. Duolingo is how I've managed to reasonably master being able to understand it. I don't mind that though. I'm quite happy with the dual switch. Right, do we go after Tinderhoof here? Is it worth a kingdom war? No. Do we wait for our gold to build up before we do anything else? Also, who are we talking about transferring here? Is this territory I want? Wario died! Thank you very much for the follow. Yeah, we actually do want to transfer that. That was the, There you go, I have a vassal. We should apparently feudalise Zamor. Where is Zamor? It's on the territory we've just taken over, which we're about to give away anyway, so... Let's make that someone else's problem, shall we? I never actually made it over to the Smithsonian, Air and Space. Used to love spending time on the aircraft carrier in New York. I need to get over to the RAF Museum here as well, now that they've redone the Battle of Britain Hall. What a great night! We made a friend. We'll ransom you. Right, I'm going to hold off until we've got at least... I think we are going to hold off declaring wars until we've got maybe like 1,000 in the bank. Because my big fear at the moment is us dying. And not leaving our heir enough cash to be able to deal with any initial unrest. Which would be problematic. Yeah, the one up in Colindale. Which is not that hard for me to get to. So it's on my list of places to go. Kendrick04, thank you very much for the follow. I tip my imaginary hat to you also. Well, non-imaginary. Imaginary to you. You are easily the best of the 4 kindreds. Except no substitute. We don't need to go... Well, we kind of got a bit of stress. Maybe we should go. Yeah, let's go to the feast. Because that kingdom I want. I do kind of want to go via there first, though, to avoid Portugal. See, we really shouldn't have done that feast, because now we've got a bunch of stress that we didn't need. Let's try and get a physician again. Yeah, the Intrepid's great. And yes, these days has a space shuttle. Didn't have the space shuttle when I lived there, but my various trips back to New York since, I've very much seen them. Fatim gets gregarious, please. Again, neither of you are an actual physician, so no. Well, I think that was net neutral on our feasting. Murder! The tunnel. Reports reach me about a high concentration of rats around Emir Zonzama's castle, and since I have a way with animals, I leave to investigate. As I reach the area, the rats converge on me, bidding me welcome, and lead me to a dark tunnel some way away from the castle. Show me the way, my friends. Fear my rat army. It's dark and the skittering of small feet echo in air heavy with the stench of refuse. Suddenly, a breath of fresh air reaches me, and I see the light filtering in through the grate up ahead. The rats lead me to a tunnel that goes straight into Emir's and Zama's castle. Thank you, my friends. Yep, the Intrepid has a space shuttle now. It's amazing. I've got a lovely photo of me and my dad by the space shuttle. People shouldn't be converting to Bobo. That's disgraceful. Chat, are you not failing to tell me when religious people finish doing religious things again? This is like your one job, chap. Your one job. And you are failing me at it. My council is fully occupied, but your entire job as chat is to remind me when she's finished doing converting things, because I always miss the message here. And given that we need to convert, you know, the whole of Africa, really like to see some more vassal gobbling down here. We could arguably try and break up some kingdoms. Amir Zonzama is inspecting a ship anchored in one of the harbours of Fuerteventura later this week. It'd be very easy to have my agents drench a rowboat bent differently out in flammable liquid. Set the plan in motion. Burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno. Oh dear, such a tragedy, he died. Hi, kid. I would quite like that county, please. Or do we go for the duchy? I would quite like that duchy, please. How many troops has he got? 1,334. I don't think we need all our armies. We can do that with just our men-at-arms. All our children are off partying again. Bit of a shift in music. How do you get the Vikings to hold still while you're painting them? They weren't renowned for being the kind of people who sat around doing nothing. Good morning, Wisely Chosen. Well, today is a relatively short stream. I'm only on for another hour or so. So actually, mostly our goal today is to keep conquering things up here and at least ensure a smooth transition, depending on how long we live, to our next ruler, and to leave our next ruler with a reasonable money pot, because they're going to have to convert back to Hausa, which is probably going to be problematic from a funding perspective, because a bunch of our stuff that we rely on, you can have it, but I'd really like you to like me. So let's befriend you. Can ransom someone's daughter, so let's get them back. So yeah, general kind of conquest. Cure some border gore. Like, so it'd be quite nice to get this kind of territory up here, as much of this kind of sorted as we can. And as I say, I kind of want to get up to move up to having a baseline of 2,000 gold ready for our heir, because they will need it. Kids are off partying again. These kids party more than I do. Yes, you absolutely are becoming a witch. Though I will surely see many battlefields before I meet my maker, my library holds tales of war from 100 lifetimes. I have recently acquired a tome on the Great Battle of Tor, as well as a time-worn scroll written in some ancient language. Who knows what forgotten secrets it could hold? I mean, we got a 100% chance of that because it's a learning challenge and our learning is absolute filth. Like 33, so... Even with the help of a dusty glossary, the scroll is reluctant to share its secrets, but I press on. As the night progresses, the most incredible story unfolds before me. In the Battle of Red Cliffs, the warlord Cao Cao chained his ships from stem to stern to combat seasickness. We're going with the Three Kingdoms, are we? So we could study the battle and gain that, or we could focus on the process. What does the difference... What does that one do? We don't really need learning. We'll study the battle. So we can call a hunt, but I'm kind of saving that in case we need it. How is our air looking? Pretty damn good. I mean, part of me's torn on whether we stress test ourselves to get her on the phone as quickly as possible. Tonight I've stripped myself of every symbol signifying my rank to walk anonymously among my soldiers. It is a quiet evening, so when the argument breaks out, the words reach me loud and clear. I think we'll mediate. We'll take the strong hook, I think. Movement speed plus 15 is just ridiculously useful, so let's go with that. I think we'd be silly not to take that. Right, let's go deal with Canary's capital. Having another kid, apparently. No, mate, you're not the dad. Like, it's sweet that you think you're my only lover, but you really aren't. I think we're actually going to have to take over the Canaries. I think it technically counts as part of Africa. Oh, that's where he is. Bless. I mean, fair enough, but... Who are you? Right, we need a new steward. And we just lost our spy master. So let's pause and sort this out. I'm not that fussed about powerful vassals, because our prestige is obscene and our fame is obscene, so we're not really going to get any issues, I think. Spy master with 28. Right, you should probably increase some control. He's on domestic affairs, but I am tempted to integrate something. It's not drifting towards Mali already. Is anything drifting towards Mali? Houseland is gradually drifting. Only take 59 years, why not? Good morning, illiterate Puffin. How are you today? It's a bank holiday weekend here in the UK, which is lovely. So I think my plan tomorrow is the wife and I are going to spend a nice lazy afternoon playing Trails of Cold Steel 4. Finally finish that off. So I think we're quite close to the end. There may be Stellaris. Maybe some Stellaris. It's a shame it's not a bank holiday in Sweden, otherwise I'd say to, if you're still there, Taharis, I'd say let's pick up our game again. I do have another martial perk ready. The problem with that is I don't see them. Right, I think we probably want to go control growth. He finished that task as well, so let's set him on something harder. We can ransom you. I think describing her as our beautiful daughter is probably not a good idea. She's a bit homely. Let's not legitimize that daughter. Right, we've occupied this, so I think what we probably just need to do is go and smack him around a bit. So let's do that. I have gained mothered many children. Which means people like me more, apparently. We had that last child at 44. That's not bad. Fatim comes of age. What are you going to get? Oh, she's a mastermind philosopher. Oh, we kind of need her on the throne pretty quick. Because if we had her on the throne, we could convert back to being Hauser again. What do you think, chat? Do we deliberately try and get her on the throne as quickly as possible? And go for like long reign, because then she'll have a long reign. Because we're not going to die. Like, we're 45 and we're really healthy. Because we've got the athletic trait. And we're a herbalist. Because we're not going to die for at least 20 years, naturally. Unless something weird happens. By that point, she's going to be 36. I reckon we win this war. We do the Kingdom War for Taebid. Because we don't want to waste a Kingdom War. And then we push on Stress Death. I think that's what we do. Hello, Hengamer3. Yeah, I think we win this war. Because we don't want to waste a Kingdom War opportunity. We take our Kingdom War, and then we try and get our heir on the throne as quickly as possible. Because we need to really start building Hauser up again. We do want to stash an absolute ton of cash before we do that, because we can create a whole bunch of titles. We've been stashing titles so that we can prestige push our heir. The alternate, there is an alternative option. The alternative option is we marry her off now, to someone with another trait, because she is intelligent and pretty. So what we could do is marry her off and try and get a really good granddaughter, and then skip a layer. That might not be a bad idea. Because that would also work. So we essentially gamble on getting a good granddaughter that we can get to inherit, rather than getting Fatima to inherit. But it does slow down our switch back to Hausa, which is 20 years, essentially, of unlocking things that we're not getting then. So in this instance, I'm inclined to get the daughter back on. If we were of Hausa culture, I'd say we go for the generational skip and we aim for getting a granddaughter. But I think just getting back to Hausa is going to be really, really critical. Right, let's not even fight that, 'cause there's no point. Oh, thank you for my faith conversion reminder. I'm kind of prioritizing Islamic lands for the faith conversions back. Right, we can now found a holy order. So where can we found a holy order? Because we want to found it somewhere we can release, so we don't want to found it there. And they're all territories that we control. That's not the end of the world. Right, which one of these do we want our holy order in? We kind of want to build a castle and give them a castle, don't we? Rather than giving them the city. No, so I think we've taken all the ones we were going to be able to do. Because we can't strengthen bloodline. We're not going to get Dynasty of Many Crowns. Arguably, marrying her off to someone with really good traits would gamble us on being able to do it with our daughter, to do strength and bloodline. But we're going to have less control over who she has kids with. Thanks for stopping by, Maverick. Let's build a castle there. We'll give that to the Holy Order. So that means we're locked in for another 5 years with this ruler. Which gives us long enough to take this place. How are his allies looking? How killable is he? Quite killable. Right, let's stash cash. So we're going to spend 5 years stashing cash, and then we're going to get our daughter on the throne, I think. That's what I think we're going to do. Or we could hedge our bets. Right, marry him. Galarel, thank you very much for the follow. Sarcastic Dane, thank you very much for the follow. Aren't all Danes sarcastic? Or is that my pro-Swedish bias coming in? After a short scuffle, the deserting soldiers are apprehended. Every soldier present, both loyal and not, know that punishment for this kind of betrayal can be harsh. The air is thick with anticipation and fear. My lady, Abiadam meets my gaze with tired eyes. They are only children. We just want to go home. Let me tell you a story about discipline and honor. Or we can just have them scrubbing the toilets. There's an 88% chance of that, so let's go with that one. We're probably going to get XCOM'd, but... Invigorated by my speech, tired from the long night, and thankful for the mercy provided, the deserters returned to their barracks with a new fire in their eyes. To inspire loyalty in the troops in such a way has shown me that there is more to being a commander than the strength in your arm. Denmark is actually on my list of places I really... I've never managed to actually get over there, but I really want to get over there. So, post-pandemic, I think probably a trip to Copenhagen is in order. Probably increase count control. I do like that this flips to a woman's home rather than a man's home because we're primary female inheritance. Right, so we're murdering this dude. We're hedging bets by marrying our daughter off. Or we should be marrying our daughter off. I did send that marriage request, didn't I? Yeah, well that's my thinking. I just want lots of... Did he die or something? Send proposal. Thank you. Oh, I wonder if his liege died. Because if she pops out a decent heir, one that could... I think what we'll do here is if she's essentially got 5 years to pop out an heir that would get us the next level of allow us to unlock the decision for having the 3 traits. Dynasty of Many Crowns. Oh no, Strength and Bloodline. If she does pop out an heir that can do that, we will wait, we will hold off, we will keep our queen on the throne and we'll go for granddaughter inheritance. But what we will probably do is casually murder all of her other children. Bowo! Well done, lad. Might give him a kingdom. Right, how long till he dies? 8 months. Cool. So we're stashing cash for 8 months. Yeah, there may be baby murder on this stream. To be honest, it's probably best to assume that there is baby murder on all of my streams unless the stream explicitly says there isn't baby murder. Let's be honest. The likelihood of baby murder is always high on my streams. I'm waiting to hear back from... I stuck a bunch of old furniture up on FreeCycle after clearing out the room. Well, I left a bunch of stuff out front with labels on saying don't steal, this is to be collected. And then it promptly all got stolen within about 2 hours, which is exactly what I wanted to happen. But there's actually some genuinely nice stuff I'm giving away as well. And it just feels nicer to give that up on FreeCycle to people who might use it. So I got rid of a desk chair to someone around the corner the other day who wants it for their kid for homeschooling. But I've got a nice desk that needs to go as well. Let's take a walk. We'll go Pious Contacts. Sounds good. And someone has said they want the desk, but then they've done that thing of not replying when I've said, well, look, here's my address and here's when I'm in. Come round and pick it up. I am mentally overwhelmed with stress. What do we do here, chat? Do we take what is essentially a freebie to start stress deathing ourselves? Because it's going to be 5 years till our next mental break, which is what we need to conquer the place anyway, and to found our holy order. Let's cancel our plans. Yeah, well, that actually applies with transport. It's one of the reasons why free transport doesn't necessarily always work. I don't want to stress myself that fast, though. We'll stop being lovers. Ooh, someone's plotting to kill me. Good luck. God damn, why are we getting so many mental breaks all of a sudden? Right, he's dead. Marrakesh will be mine. I suspect the problem is everyone's dying of old age. Search for a physician. Right, let's raise some armies. Terrible position choices. How very dare he? Throw him in jail. If you convert, I'll release you. Right, let's get this conquered. Again, we probably don't need all of these guys, so let's get rid of these two. Because they're low quality troops anyway. Right, you go siege down Marrakesh. And the rest of you deal with that. But yeah, I think it's just because we're hitting the point of natural end of lives for a bunch of people that we're friends with. It's the downside of the whole befriend thing. It's really powerful and really useful, but at the same time, you have a problem the moment all your friends start dying. We'll take that one just because it's mildly useful. But basically, our trait combo means it's going to be, should be relatively easy to stress death ourselves. Throw him in jail. Will he convert? Them plotting against me is actually quite handy for the ones that aren't my faith. I know we're taking attrition for doing that, but I just kind of want this war over as quickly as possible because it's screwing with our money generation. I'm not a white piece you. Why would I white piece you? I mean, sure. Go for it, pal. Yeah, I think that's the thing as well with that is and you're absolutely right, is they shouldn't get the full force limit. The French vassals should have a modifier on them that A, gives them reduced force limit anyway, unless you should give them a reduced force limit unless they're discontent. I'd do something like that. Oh no, my son's got cancer. Drastic measures. Well, that didn't go well. Right, there's his main army. So we should be able to slap him around with these guys. Because they should finish that siege before he gets down here and unsieges anything. And that's arguably our best army anyway. We might swap the commander out. Logistician, please. Yeah, I mean, but I've talked before on the Discord about how in EU4 the whole vassal mechanic is broken, and I actually really, really liked how they accidentally broke it. Like, you shouldn't just be able to vassalize people in wars. You should have to have a reason for being able to vassalize them. I don't mind if it becomes a mission or something you can do with spy networks or whatever else. But you shouldn't just be able to go, right, you lost a war with me, vassal. You're my vassal now. But that's just because I don't like blobbing. I really, really don't like blobbing. We're definitely dying of stress. But we did just gain a kingdom. And one of the things I'm wondering is, can we found a holy order in one of these places? Because we could release that. Because we're going to need to drop the territory anyway. Oh yeah, no, this is probably why it's one of the achievements I've got towards the end, is because it is basically a blobbing achievement, and I dislike blobbing in every game I play. It just becomes admin after a certain point. It's like, what's the point? Where's the fun? It just becomes spreadsheet simulator. Right, did that add any more interesting places? Where it did. So we could form one there. Let's form a holy order there. The Spirit Guardians have been founded. Then we grant that to probably, isn't he our kid? It's of our line. So you get that. Right, can we go on a pilgrimage? $985, we'd have another 5 years on that. And we're now at the point where we have to decide whether we're going to stress death ourselves or not. I think kingdom level is really fun. I don't mind empire level, I just don't like big empires. Kingdom level is probably my favourite. Right, we should give away this territory because we don't want it. We do want someone of the right faith and religion, because then they'll do their own conversions. So let's get some houses going on here. Marrakesh would be nice. We could keep Marrakesh. It is quite tasty. Maybe we keep Marrakesh and finally get rid of what we had going on down here. Let's do that. I think that's the best approach. Because the big problem we've got is we can't really do a lot of building because we know that they're all going to get screwed the moment we convert back to Hausa. Absolutely. Free money. Right, we are actually going to host a feast. Because it gives me faith. Because if we could get another 250 faith, we could actually found another holy order by releasing that. Found a new holy order, then reintegrate it again. More dead friends. Chat, you're rubbish. Right, do Marrakesh, because we now control Marrakesh. Yeah, I'd agree on that. I think that is one of the things, is when you hit that level, it starts to become more of kind of all of this. Have fun, Country Laura. Enjoy your time. Get in prison. Yeah, good luck with that, son. I'll leave it to my generals. I'm actually going to flip us. Let's see if we can just get a couple of theology events that would just trigger our piety to the point where we could found another holy order, because it would be quite handy. Oh, actually, if we just went to war with some Muslims, that would do it as well. What are your allies like? We can round this out, because we're actually reasonably well off for cash now. So we could do a de jure sieger. Let's go for that, because it costs more. And our heir can do the de jure war, which will be cheaper. If you could gather a bit faster, guys, I'd be happy. Thank you. Right, you two go there. You really don't need to gather anymore. So you go there. You really don't need to gather anymore. You go to Tangiers. And you go to Tangiers as well. Another kid comes of age. So this is kind of our offensive strike force. Because yeah, we get up to 500, we can afford to found another Holy Order. Which we'll have to be slightly sneaky about how we do it. We can do it. Or should be able to anyway. Alright. Oh, she's shagging around. Our daughter's shagging around. Who are you shagging around with? Oh, with a mere Biamber of slats. Oh, no, 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 not him. He's the one who keeps plotting against me. So, nope. Right, you go kill them. Actually, don't even bother. Oh, I should have fought that battle, shouldn't I, for the religious benefit. Right, where is the guy who is rebelling against me? Down here. Right, you lot go deal with him. You lot can actually just disband. Well, quite, you know. That guy's, like, literally tried to kill me twice. And my daughter's like, hey, bae. Yeah, I mean, that's it. It's just kids acting out. You know what they're like. Prisoners can be ransomed. So we will do so. Because it's money. And we like money. Stop having babies with people I don't want you to have babies with. Righto. I mean, it's a brave decision. Like, that's a bold life choice. I mean, sure. Fair enough, go for it. Random histo facts. So, certainly within American kind of cultural thinking, Benedict Arnold is obviously seen as a massive traitor, but there's a significant argument for saying that on 3 separate occasions Benedict Arnold actually saved the American Revolution, and because he was an incredible commander, and that really when you dig into his letters, the thing that he kind of, you could understand why he then lost faith in the American Revolution and rebelled, which really boiled down to the fact that Congress essentially continued to promote people above him who were worse generals and were just better politically connected, and he was became massively disillusioned and convinced that the Americans were going to lose precisely because they kept doing this. And then also Congress started to forget to pay his troops. So he was funding his entire regiment out and troops out of his own pocket, and he wasn't exactly the richest man in the world. And they kept over-promoting idiots. So he was just kind of like, guys, this whole thing's going to fail if you do this kind of thing. So he just eventually became so disillusioned with it that he just went, fuck you lot. You're no more interested in freedom than anyone else. You're just out for yourselves. So I'm done with this. But yeah, 3 separate occasions. Twice in battle, one of which he lost his leg at, and once on the Great Lakes. There's a real argument for saying Benedict Arnold is the genuine true founder of the American Navy, not whoever the American Navy claim as their founder. But they kind of hand wave it away because he did it on the Great Lakes. I'd rather gain more piousness so we can found our new holy order. I absolutely don't want to be spending piety right now. Plus, Bori getting some fervour is a good idea. Right, who are we at war with? Are we at war with over here? Is it this person over here? Yeah, it's her. You are going to get such a smacking in a minute. As soon as I've dealt with my daughter's lover, you are getting a smacking. Because I would like her to have babies that are actually of use to me. Via the husband I carefully picked out for her. Ooh! Hello! Would you like to stay at my court? Because I will 100% press your claim for that kingdom. I think our learning is now absolutely seen. I know we're getting low on supply, but I think our best route to winning this is sieges. Well, actually what we could do, and probably should do, because we're going to need the rest of the army anyway. fight that other war. So let's raise the rest of the army. Because they can go smack him around a bit. And then hopefully that siege plus smacking him around a bit down here will do it. We're over our limit again. How did we end up over our limit again? Oh, we kept hold of this territory up here. Yeah, we need to get rid of Tangier. Oh, do we? Do we keep Tangier instead of Marrakesh? No, Marrakesh is better. We'll grant that to our House's son. You can have that one as well. No, not going to revoke your title. You can have Sutra as well. Come here. Stop running away. I just want to talk. Honest. I just want to talk. We need to have a conversation about my daughter. There we go. Right. Oh, it's going to cost... Go die in my dungeon. Stop shagging my daughter. Right, let's go deal with this other war. Still can't believe she declared on me. It took me bloody ages to get over there. In fact, everyone just head over there, please. Oh, hello other cat. How are you? Second breakfast time, is it? Yeah, she'll be there. Would you like some Felix? Here you go. I know you want lunch, but it's a bit early for lunch. But here you go. Have some Felix. Oh! Other cats turned up again. Oh, hello, Max. Oh, excuse me for a second, chat, because I need to execute some very careful snack distribution here. Here you go. There's yours. There's yours over there. You have that stuff, and Max will have the other ones. Max, here's your Felix. You leave her Felix alone. There you go. See? You can both peacefully coexist. You both had exactly the same amount of Felix. Satisfied? I'm particularly impressed, Max, at your ability to literally appear from nowhere the moment you heard a bag of Felix rustling. This is relative detente. No one's killed each other. Hello. Yes, 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 you are superior cat. I don't actually have the webcam plugged in, otherwise I would show you the scenes that are unfolding. I probably should have plugged it in. The problem is if I move to plug it in, they will react. Because, yeah, we've got, you know, kitties perched near each other at the moment. Yes, I know, Max. Yes, you are my favourite. You needy little animal. Needy, needy, needy little animal. Currently sitting with his back to her, trying to pretend he doesn't care. She is scanning the area for remaining Felix. Don't lick the floor. Don't lick the floor. It's not seemly. Anyway, back to the game. I'll ignore them while they do their thing. Right, let's go deal with these fools. Yeah, next week I'll plug in the webcam. I suspect you'll get a repeat of all of this next week. I will actually negotiate alliance with my kid. As much to protect him as anyone else. Right, prisoners can be ransomed. Nope. You're getting murdered. You, however, will get me 50 gold, so you can die. We inherited a sheikdom that we definitely don't want. Where is this sheikdom? Let's grant that to someone. It's actually surprisingly good sheikdom, this one, despite the fact that it's in the middle of nowhere. Ooh, hey. You're the right religion. You are. Enjoy. Thank you for watching, Clan William. Well, it's a country that is shrinking. Mostly, I think, because my vassals keep eating parts of it. Not going to spend a lot of gold. Still not quite ready to be dead yet. I want to win this war for a start. Like, the only reason they've got this far is because I was in another war. And my empire's so bloody big that it takes bloody ages to march all the way over. Good news is everyone here is in decent supply. How are we doing on conversions? We're not. Congrats, you're my spy master. Nice lot of Borry looking going there. We got a whole lot of Borry going on. We will take it next, because that's one of the reasons to flip back to the learning track. So we're not far off getting it. Thing is, we're not going to die unless we stress death ourselves. Right, we're going to group everyone up in Dower, and then we're going to go in full pitch battle. There's a lot of crimes going on in my kingdom. Pop back in a bit, Kitty. Oh, she's going in the box. Chat, she's sitting in the box. No, she changed her mind. She changed her mind. Oh, I'm a beast. Okay, I think I'm going to have to feed these kitties. Because she's numbling around and she wants some food. And she is underfed. So let me just feed her. But I need to try and do this without spooking her. Which is quite hard to do. Especially she's in the kitchen at the moment. So she's not going to see me coming. La la la, I'm just walking here, I'm making noise. La la la, hello small kitty. Right. There's one clean plate. I'll tell you what, the level of washing up this is resulting in is extreme. Right, come on then. Who wants some dry cat food? Because I know if I put it down for one of you, the other one's going to want some as well. Because God forbid I should give stuff to one cat and not to the other cat. Even though neither of these cats are mine. Yes, I can see you sitting patiently. Let's get you some food. Just have some dry food though, because, you know, it's lunchtime. You don't get Felix stuff all the time. Yeah, I know. It's coming. There you go. Max, are you alright over there, or do you need some? You're okay, are you? What if I put some kitty milk down? Is that gonna annoy you? Because she loves her kitty milk, so it's only fair she gets a bit of kitty milk. You had some kitty milk this morning. There you go. Well done, Max. Well tolerated. I'll give you a couple of Felix. Here you go. Being a very tolerant boy. There you go. Honestly. There you go. You satisfied? Good. Right, let's win this war. Right. Do we want this general? We probably want that dude. Is he commanding somewhere else? Oh man, is he commanding his own army? In which case, actually, we want you. So this is interesting, actually, because I've just put some basic kind of dried kitty food down for her. Because the approach we've been taking is give her small amounts of food quite frequently. So when she comes in and asks for it, just so she starts feeling safe. We shouldn't actually get stressed for giving them away if we're over our limit. You can throw all your troops in there, you're still going to lose. But all you've done is made my life much easier. Right. Now we've got to unsiege all of this stuff. Right, so we've now got Know Thyself, which is useful. But yeah, I think he's getting a bit more used to the idea that she is allowed in the house. Like, he's having a nice little clean on the footstool while she's eating her dried food over on the other side of the room. Which is working quite well. The reason we're 1 over, by the way, is because we just got fat, and I think that's just dropped one of our stewardship for no apparent reason. So what I am tempted to do is just briefly marry someone, because we're not going to have any kids. It's going to cost us a ton of prestige to do that. That's because we're trait filtering, aren't we? We don't need to trait filter. And then, if we flip that to manage domain, that will sort out us being over our limit. Right, let's win this stupid war, and then we can found another holy order. I'm still confused as to why she declared this war. Like, she was never going to win it before I did the other stuff. Give us some legal babies. Yeah, can you not do that? I'm almost tempted to white piece this, because I'm not really going to gain anything from keeping this war going, because I'm losing cash. I'll make more money than I would gain from holding out on the war. So what I kind of want to do before I finish is make sure we're setting ourselves up for the next one. You absolutely should accept a white piece. It's insane that you don't accept it. Why would you do that? They'll come back for that one as well. -10, so I should accept white piece soon. Because this war is just attritional. No one is gaining from this. She's at war with other people. Oh, we're getting through a lot of spy masters. Somewhat disturbing. Chat, you're failing me yet again. Right, will you end this stupid war yet? Oh, God, woman. Suppose it's because technically she still holds the war goal. There we go. Right, we're at peace. We have enough faith. That's the wrong colour now. We're going to need to take it. Looking good on our Bori though, look. Not looking bad at all. So... let's... right, I've got to do this right. So this was where we set up our Holy Order, wasn't it? Congrats, you're now independent. Which means if we host a feast... as soon as we finish our feast, we can found another Holy Order. Welcome, friends! Found Holy Order. And this one we are going to found up here in our newly created barony, which is the Wilhaf of Arakina. Grandmaster Abda has founded the Possessed. What a great name for a holy order. The Possessed. Hey, Petty King Jarama, would you like to be my vassal? Yeah, she'll be my vassal. Hey, Petty Magiva Jarama. Oh, you're of my family, so I probably shouldn't murder you. But I am going to murder you. Because you've already got kids, so. Who aren't of my dynasty. That's disgraceful. Definitely getting murdered. She really needs to be popping out some decent kids of the right genetic lineage. Because we do not have a better option. I'm not 100% sure what we do. She's got to have some decent kids at some point, surely. I mean, we've thrown her lover in jail. So that gives us diligent planning again, which is useful because we're still massively pushing. We're dev pushing Niani, which is not bad. We've added on five development in the time that we've been in charge. Yeah, we could execute him or torture him, but we don't quite have enough faith to do it yet. Don't think it'll let us. Oh no, it might just push us into negative faith. I was kind of hoping he'd just do the decent thing and die in my dungeon. Let's go negative for a while. Right, would you please sleep with your husband now? Don't really need to do a pilgrimage. So we've got 2 holy orders down, and 2 holy orders should be enough. They're only really there to give us security. Yay, we finally actually got a decent physician. Oh shit, yeah, we're murdering her, aren't we? Let's... Is there anyone we can get in on this? There isn't. But we can get him to get involved. Probably not going to pull this off, but it's worth a go anyway. Oh, actually, the other thing we should do, so we don't forget, we need to kill this guy. We need her dead. We need him dead. Because we've got someone who's got a claim on Yoruba land. So we could basically add that whole thing to our kingdom. In one go. I'm not sure if we could call the Holy Orders in against him. So I can't remember how it works with the split between faiths and unreformed faiths. Let's get ourselves back into positive piety. Everyone is doing things. You can get another learning perk. I mean, we've got enough troops. We should be able to take him. Like if one person wanted us to help us kill him, we'd be fine. So we are gradually dying off here. So actually we do probably want to do that. Oh God, please be a decent daughter. Granddaughter. No, not the best. It's a grandson as well. That's probably not the end of the world though. At least he's popped out a kid. Well, we tried. Ooh, we're near death. Right, we're doing nothing then because we want to keep the cash going. Fuck! She healed us. I was hoping she'd do damage. That's bloody annoying. Because I'm sort of in two minds about whether we survive and carry on living. I think we just stash cash. Let's try and kill this dude off. Because that's like the one thing that is worth doing. Let's see if we can push through this. I can do about 5 minutes. So I'd at least like to get that war declared if we're going to do it. $25 gold, it's 25 gold. Because otherwise I'll only forget to declare that war next stream. Right, dead within a year, so we are taking a... Oh, God. No, it still says we're dead within a year. Right, in which case we're not declaring the war. We want the cash stashed. But we might as well it's not like we can get any more stressed. Don't really need to... Oh, actually, no, I could allocate the others for murder. So that'll help our murder plot as well. Shit! still got a good chance, though. Anyone else want in? We might still pull this off. Yes, we killed him in a flaming boat. Right, we're going to declare this war. And we'll start fighting it. So I don't forget to fight it. But we'll stop the moment we die. As in that's when the stream will end. Right, so let's go as 2 forces of 6k. You go around there, because let's see if we can actually catch his other army. Actually, who's got the siege train? Right, you've got the siege train. So I want you... Alright, fuck it. Everyone go round here. Because we've still got movement bonuses while we're alive. Right. Army, split in 2. Who got the siege? You got the siege. Go sit on his capital. Rest of you go there, that's fine. I suspect we will have trouble for our heir. I think she's going to have problems holding on to a lot of what we've done, but that's part of the fun. RIP! RIP Malika Al-Mazuma Yaba at 56. Can we get some Fs in chat, please? For the founder of the Empire of Mali, a paragon of virtue, a religious icon, one of the greatest rulers of her time, has died. She died from complications related to obesity. A tormented woman, she had long desired the sweet embrace of death. Now the good news is we're under our domain limit. Right, good news is also we're paused. So I think that is going to be the point at which we end today's stream. Let's see who's streaming, and we will raid. But we did well there. Actually, before we do anything else, no, actually, let's not end there. Because what we do need to do... we can't convert to local culture yet because we're at war. And we're going to need a bit more prestige, which apparently we have very little of. So let's not set any of this up. Let's save it there at the point of inheritance.